Friends, colleagues and listeners, here we are. Got an interesting little podcast here, and it's with our old friend Lionel van der Walt, who's now the Chief Commercial Officer for Nalian. Lionel, lovely to have you on board, sir.
Hey, Chris, great to see you again.
Yeah, as always. And I think you're in a little sunnier climes than we've got here at the moment, even though you're in Brussels.
Yeah, amazing. Flew all the way from North Carolina to Brussels and got the most incredible weather here.
Nice one, but long may it stay. So now, Lionel, very quickly, Chief Commercial Officer, okay, and driving expansion. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about that, and just for everybody that's listening, a little bit about, the objectives of what you're doing, because there's a couple of little snippets that I read and I love the term, which I'm going to come to shortly.
Absolutely, yeah. So Chief Commercial Officer, obviously my focus is on the commercial side of the business, looking at how do we grow the business and really work with our partners and clients out there to deliver, optimal solutions for the marketplace. Nalian has been known in the industry for many years, focused on cargo community systems, but it's much broader than that, because what I see with Nalian is really how do we take companies that are working together at our airports across the globe, and how do they work more seamlessly together, and how do we facilitate their transfer of data, when we have those handover points, which we have many of, obviously, within our industry. And then the company has sort of transitioned, in a sense, from where it was initially mainly focused just on cargo community systems at airports, to where we're also now providing solutions for stakeholders like ground handling agents and self-handling airports. A lot of that on the land side, where we're optimizing for congestion and infrastructure limitations, etc.
Yeah, very good. And when you think of one of the most important and key elements being the trucking, it's amazing. It's amazing how for so many years, and I do feel sorry for them. I've got a lot of colleagues and contacts, and I just think, you're left out all the time, but you're the one who's got to sit there and wait. You're the one who has to sit and wait, getting through, advanced control posts or remote control posts, and you've got so many things to contend with. And it's one of the most important areas, because if they've got all those problems, then the airport and the community has as well.
Absolutely. It's one of those critical components that I feel has sort of been treated as a bit of a stepchild within the industry. But at the end of the day, it's so critical. It's a linchpin between everything that we're doing, coming from the shippers to the airports and then onto the carriers as they're transporting the goods, right? And I think there's still a huge disconnect, both in terms of operational processes as well as technology being used between the trucking companies that are actually having to deliver and pick up goods, and the way that we're trying to transform and optimize operations at airports nowadays.
The little bit you're touching about there on there about how to communicate and also what data people have. And, everybody says, yeah, we've got digitized this and digitized that, and we've got active APIs and open APIs, and we're able to do this and that. When you actually look at it and you get down in the detail, and this is the thing that really still surprises and also frustrates me, you've still got so much Excel power and manual activities that people are doing, either in the middle or at the end or sometimes at the beginning of a process that should be, digitized all the way through to make it easy and work more efficiently. And if it goes wrong, or if it's not working well enough, everything clogs up and stands still.
Absolutely. And I think, there's obviously numerous reasons why that is still happening. Some of it is just, the fear of change and people being very used to the way that they're doing things, and they do not want to transition, or they feel that they're not confident in some of the technologies that are being implemented. And most probably that is due to change management and education. The other aspect also, obviously, which we know in the industry, people are afraid of sharing information, right? So people tend to hold on to their little communities and protect what they have. Where a lot of the information that we're talking about, it's not confidential information. It's information about when somebody arriving to pick up something, or when somebody's going to be departing. And the technologies are such that you can manage that information access, so that only those who need and have authority to access it can do so. So a lot of this is around education and making sure that people really understand what is possible and how that can then be used effectively to make their jobs better. And I don't think Vietnam has probably done a really good job of doing that, obviously, if you see what's happening still.
Yeah, and it's the self-promotion, because even some of the data that, I mean, I'm a big advocate of 3DM. If you've got good data, it's going to help you make a better decision and do
Absolutely.
something better. But the amount of basic data, which almost is like a snapshot of everything, and then you're expected to extract what you think is important from that, from that data collection. That's what I don't understand. Why not show the big ticket items? So, if you've got a target or a KPI or it's linked to SLAs or performance, why not show what you want to reach and then have a threshold? Whereas people far too often in our industry are happy to sit with the same old levels, 85 to 92%. And I always joke with people, I say, if you were sitting on an aircraft, so you're going to return home, and if you're sitting on that aircraft, all of a sudden you've gone through the safety routine and then you hear the captain say, bing bong, ladies and gentlemen, for every 100 aircraft that take off today, 85 will land. Would you stay on the aircraft? No, you wouldn't. So why is this mediocrity acceptable? Because people think that everybody else is at the same level. We need to be pushing each other. And the greater the data and collaboration, like you said, that gives you the opportunity.
Absolutely. And it's also simple things. It's not only just on the KPIs. It's how do you know what resources you need at a specific time of the day at your facility, right? Yeah. How do you manage that effectively? How do you know what time the trucks are going to be arriving? Do you know if you've got clients that are booking slots and continuously canceling them at the last minute? And how do you manage those commercial relationships? You can only know that if you've got visibility around the data, right?
100%, 100%. And something, right, so just very quick, because I know this was just a quick soundbite, but the terms that I was talking about was to do with, business collaboration between all cargo airport actors. And the one I love is improved attractiveness of an airport.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about everything that we're talking around here, if you look at the cargo side of the airport, it tends to be chaos at a lot of airports, right? Lines of trucks waiting, and a lot of the airports don't have staging areas, so it's blocking roads. The impact on passengers traveling, also trying to get to airports, etc., is pretty significant at some of the locations. I mean, at the end of the day, if you look at what an airport is doing from the cargo side, we're driving the economies of countries, right? So that impact that we're facilitating here, and then also, looking at making the workplace a great environment for the employees that are going to be there and a safe environment is critical. So using these technologies, I think, plays a huge part in that. Plus, I'm always a big proponent because I think technologies are changing the roles at airport, and that is also bringing us, making it more attractive for that next generation and making it more interesting for people on the ground. Because if you're sitting there playing on an Excel spreadsheet all day, I cannot imagine that you're enjoying that as much as if you start focusing on using technologies that are going to help you to become more efficient, and you can focus on client service, interacting with stakeholders, really sort of adding more value for your organization versus just doing these, boring, laborious, processes that don't add value.
100%. People and two little terms that are behind you. Customer first. Let's do it. Lionel, thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate it. And we'll have a little soundbite in a minute on the conference that's coming up in Istanbul and the landside congestion. Thank you, sir.